All right, guys, we're here at the final score tonight. It's December 22nd. I hope everybody's ready for Christmas. I guess I am. We're ready or not, here it comes. With me tonight is one of the legends of NC State basketball. He played for NC State from 85 to 89. Actually, he's got an NBA record. He shares a record for most teams played with in the NBA. He played with 12 teams. But he's also an NBA world champion. Got that with the Rockets, with the Houston Rockets when Clyde Drexler, Akeem Olajuwon, Kenny Smith were there. He was drafted in the second round of the Cavaliers in '89. Also was a head coach of the WBA Raleigh Knights in 2004. That, like I said, he got that NBA championship with the Rockets in '94 and '95. And an interesting tidbit, this guy was part of a trade that brought Charles Barkley to Houston. He and four other guys were traded to Phoenix. You just got Barkley. Barkley for our guest tonight, Chucky Brown. Welcome to the show, Mr. Brown. It's a great honor to talk to one of the legends of ACC and NC State basketball.
Thank you for having me, man. I just want to say I was the first one to get that team, get the 12-team record. I was the first.
You were the first, okay, yeah, because I was reading up on you, but that's quite you had a good NBA career. You played for 12 different teams. You got to travel a lot. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I got to travel a lot. I got to see a lot of different places that I would never have seen had I not been playing basketball. So basketball has brought me a lot of joy. Though some people would say, well, how do you move, 12 different times? It's a job, and it's a fun job. It's one of the best jobs you can have is being a NBA basketball player.
Well, I'll say this, and I coach. I'm like a volunteer coach for football. Anytime, you tell your kids, anytime you get to go to another level, like college or the pros, to play a game that you grew up loving to play, that's a plus.
Oh yeah,
that's a plus.
Oh yeah. That's fun, and like and it has its rough spots, but it's not nearly as rough as working a regular 9 to 5.
Tell me about
it. The rough spots are good spots.
Tell me about it.
The rough spots are good spots.
I know exactly what you're saying there. Okay, like you ended up at NC. You grew up in New York, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now, I know you came down to North Carolina,
right?
And obviously NC State was your choice. But what other schools were in the mix for trying to get you to come play for them?
Oh yeah, it was quite a few other schools, mainly like ACC schools,
right.
Wake Forest, University of North Carolina, Duke, University of Maryland. Those were the front running schools. DePaul and also West Virginia were in the mix as well. Once I had gotten pretty good in basketball, but I really knew nothing about NC State until I came down to North Carolina. I was more of a UNC fan because Jimmy Black had went to my high school. I went to Cardinal Hayes High School in the Bronx. So when Jimmy Black was playing in the national championship in 1982, I can remember sitting on the edge of the bed with my father watching Carolina play Georgetown. So Jimmy was from New York, and I was pulling for Jimmy. In New York, you pull for the New Yorkers when they go somewhere. So I really knew about Carolina, but I did not know about NC State. And what attracted me to NC State was the fact that Jim Valvano was from Queens. Now, had he not been from Queens, I probably would not have gone there. But he's what attracted me to NC State.
So that was my next question was going to be, what made you choose the NC State over those other teams? I'm guessing Coach Valvano had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, he had a lot to do with that, and me just moving down to North Carolina. It's like when you go anywhere, you kind of gravitate to people. Like if you were to move, you're from North Carolina, you move to California, and you happen to run into a group of people from North Carolina, you would sort of gravitate first to those people than you would to the Californians, because those people kind of, you can talk about some of the same things. So that's what it was with me. Valvano was from Queens, Ernie Myers was from New York, Lorenzo Charles was from Brooklyn. So that's kind of where I went. Like, all right, well, I'm going with these New York cats and that. So That's what I did. That's what attracted me to NC State. With V being from Queens, which comes down to the same thing.
Okay. Well, now everybody knows about Coach Valvano, how he was.
Right.
Just had that magnetic personality. You couldn't. I mean, you don't hear many people, and even before he passed away, you didn't hear many people say bad things about Coach Valvano. I mean, I love Coach Valvano. It was just like I said earlier. We were talking before we went on the air. I was one of those weird Carolina fans that I pulled for State when they weren't playing Carolina, and a lot of that was because of the '83 championship run and what he pulled off there. What a great coaching job he did with that team to come from on the verge of not even making the NCAA tournament to play in the national championship and upsetting a Houston team that was, oh gosh, they were favored by so much. I think one of the quotes was NC State's best chance to win tonight is Houston bus wreck. But but he pulled it off, and he also he was a great coach, and I mean he had that personality, but he was a great coach. What was it like playing for Coach Valvano?
I think it was great for me. I think the one thing that Coach V did that a lot of coaches, I played for a lot of coaches, and I think the one thing that he did that a lot of coaches don't do is that he believes in you, or he lets you believe that he believes in you.
Right.
So therefore you believe more in yourself. So he was a good guy for as far as like motivation and confidence. Like I can remember one time we had when Charles Shackelford left school and he went early to the draft, and we had a center by the name of Avon Lester.
I remember.
So Coach V, we had a big team meeting before the season started, and Coach V was telling us about how he was going around to all these functions talking about everybody was asking him about the team, what are you going to do about Charles Shackelford, this, that, and the other. And, he said, well, we're going to play Avon Lester, and he said how the fans there, or the people there, like, didn't believe in Avon. And he told Avon right there, he said, you know what, they don't believe in you, but I do. And then he kept going on, and you could see Avon getting pumped up, and Avon went out and had a really good, I think that was his sophomore year. I think it was sophomore, junior year one, but he came out and had a really good year, but I think that was partially because Coach V believed in him, or let him, believe that he believed in him. So he gave him that extra confidence that he probably needed.
Well, they definitely, I mean, you can't say enough about the guy from what he did, and like I said, pass away, and you get, I think every year, one of the things you look forward to is seeing that never give up speech on ESPN.
Right.
It's just, one of the iconic speeches in sports history right there. Okay, so you said you knew about Carolina. What was your take the first time you played Carolina, just Carolina State rivalry back then, which was, I think it's coming back now because State is really, State's, with Keats there, State's really improved a lot. I think you're going to see that Carolina State rivalry come back. Hopefully to get to the level of the Carolina Duke, because I love those rivalries like that. But what was it like the first time you were introduced to that Carolina State rivalry?
Well, when I first moved down here, I think it was only 8 teams in the ACC.
Right.
And I can remember, and people think I'm joking, but the Carolina and State rivalry was bigger than the Duke Carolina rivalry.
Yeah, it was.
I remember coming down here, and they may have played a ACC tournament or something like that. But the teachers would bring the TV during school. The teachers would bring a TV in and watch the game if it was a Carolina State, game early. And I can remember listening to the radio games, and just like the whole, like when NC State played North Carolina, like I remember people just stopping, and like everything stopped. So the Duke rivalry wasn't there really until NC State went on that probation, and there was a void to fill there. And Duke stepped in, and they've done a great job of making that rivalry great. But it was only because NC State went on probation. If you talk to any older people, they remember when the Carolina State rivalry was the big thing. And I remember, like, as a player, my freshman year coming to NC State, and I don't believe I played as much. I didn't play that much when we played. I might not have played at all the first time we played. I remember Carolina being number 1 in the country, coming to Reynolds Coliseum, and we had Chris Washburn and Nate McMillan and Ernie Myers and Charles Shackelford.
Del
we had we had a pretty good team too.
Yeah.
So we beat them. We ended up beating them, and I just remember, how crazy things were, and when I got the opportunity to play in it, like I remember playing in that same route when we beat them. The next year, my sophomore year, we beat them in the ACC championship. I can remember just like, I still have people when I go over to Carolina now, because some of the Carolina guys are my good friends, like Sam Perkins and Kenny Smith, James Worthy. Those are good friends of mine. So I go over there now. People still come up to me over there and say, "Yeah, I remember you when you played in NC State. I hated you. I hated NC State, but I like you." They said, "I hated NC State, but I like you." So I mean, it was so awesome playing in that rivalry, and for me to sit here and hear the Duke Carolina rivalry, I always tell younger people, like, look, it's a great rivalry, but it would never touch what NC State and Carolina used to be, because it seemed like the whole state would stop moving when those two teams played.
Definitely. Yeah, your freshman year, you go 21-13. Y'all had some big wins though. You had like UNLV was 12th. You beat them. Kentucky was 8th. You get them. Louisville 16th. And of course, like you said, you beat number 1 Carolina, ranked number 1 at the time. You beat them, and you make a big run into the tournament. You end up losing to Kansas. And I think Kansas, if I'm not mistaken, Kansas ended up winning the national championship that year.
No, it was Louisville.
Louisville
won it.
Louisville beat
they beat Duke. But we were the last team to beat. People don't know this. We were the last team to beat Louisville on that championship run.
Yeah,
Louisville came here and we beat them by 20, and they didn't lose another game after that.
Yeah, that was when they had Never Nervous Purvis Ellison. That's what they used to call
That's
it.
Right. That's right.
So you get into your sophomore year. Y'all were 2014. You finished 6th in the regular season ACC. And this is what I'm talking about with Val Vanna. As good a coaching job as he did with the 83 team, I think with you guys to win, y'all come out and win the ACC tournament championship. You beat Duke in overtime. You beat Wake in 2 overtimes, and get a 1-point win over Carolina in the ACC championship game. Nobody expected that. What was? I mean, when you go into the ACC tournament and y'all are the 6th seed, what was Coach Valvano telling you as far as getting your mindset ready for the ACC tournament?
Well, he was just telling us, hey, just go out and play hard. He told us that, in order for us to get into the NCAA tournament, you might have to win. You might have to win this tournament, but go out, play hard, have fun. Let's have fun. Don't worry about nothing. And we did that. We played, Duke in that first round. I think we might have split with them earlier that year. But we went out. We beat them in overtime. The next round, Wake Forest always, in my whole 4 years I played, Wake Forest was one of the toughest teams for us. But we went out and we beat them in the 2 overtimes. And then when it was time to play Carolina, we didn't, first of all, it was ACC championship, and then it was our rival, so we really didn't need much.
Yeah, you didn't really need much motivation there.
we didn't need much motivation there, so I think what Coach Z told us, though, that really motivated us, that was, that game was on, like, ACC TV and, like, NBC, and he said that he told us that, that NBC was planning to switch to golf because we were probably going to get blown out.
Oh.
So I think that was extra. Yeah, that was a little extra more. Now, whether it's true or not, I don't know. but he had, we young kids, he had us. So we were like, well, they're going to switch the game. So I don't think we ever trailed in that game until late. We might have trailed by 1 point, I think. And then we ended up, Vinny hit the free throws to put us back up by 1. But yeah, that was, V told us that they were planning on switching the game, and I mean, that got us pumped up. We was ready to go.
Honestly,
it worked.
I honestly don't see them switching an ACC championship game to golf, but whatever works for you, that was great
Right.
motivation there. Yeah, y'all pretty much led the whole way because I can remember as superstitious and as I am, I several times I turned the TV off. I was like, if I
Right.
turn the TV off and don't watch, maybe they'll play better, maybe they'll come back. It didn't work. I mean, they made it a game, but I think y'all were pretty much ahead of them pretty much the whole game. And
Yeah.
the irony of that, I can remember it when, like, you reminded me when you talked about it, y'all maybe having to win the whole thing, the whole tournament to get into the NCAA, and it was like a whole deja vu thing again. But you end up losing to Florida in the first round.
Right.
But you come back your junior year, y'all go 24-7, second in the ACC. You take 2 out of 3 from Duke. You're the leading scorer that year. You average 16.6 a game. So you're kind of becoming the leader of this group now. With Del Negro's gone, Shackelford is on the way out. So you kind of become the leader. What did Valvano ever come to you and say, "Look, you got to be the leader of this team"?
No, he never said that to me, but I just kind of lead by example. I'm not really a big talker. I like to show how to do things. I'm not really a big trash talker or nothing like that. But I like to show how to do things and how to do things right. But I do remember him saying, somebody sent me an article, and they highlighted the article where he was talking about his upcoming team. And when I saw that he said in the article that he wished he had 10 Chucky Browns or something like that. And I was like, wow, so that right there, let me know what he was expecting from me. And I just tried to go out and try to prove him right and try to do those things.
Okay, you had two freshmen come in that year,
Right.
Corciani and Moreau. What your first impressions of those two guys?
Well, the first impression of Corciani was he's really going to help us because he could see the floor, very unselfish, didn't want to shoot, wanted to see other people get off. And Rodney, my first impression of Rodney was, just a great shooter with range and a scorer. And basically, I was hoping that he would pass the ball a little bit. so that was not him with Rodney and
Chris. well, and another guy that was on that team, and I think that he started coming around his junior year and senior year. That was kind of, I don't know if you call it overshadowed, but it was underrated. A lot of people don't talk about, but one of the guys that I think was really key to NC State basketball back then, Brian Howard. You don't hear a lot of people talk about Brian Howard. I remember how dangerous he was. I mean, I've seen him. He really came around his junior senior year with y'all. But you guys definitely had some talent on that. A lot of talent on that team. Okay, now I know what was it like playing in Reynolds? Because I've told you earlier before we went on the air. I'm an old school ACC guy. I like the '80s and the '90s. And I don't have anything against the big arenas and stuff, but I think it just takes away from what y'all had there at Reynolds with the student body right there on the court. At Reynolds would get so loud that I just remember that noise meter y'all had there. What was it like playing in Reynolds?
Oh, Reynolds was probably the best arena in college basketball. I went to the basketball game today with my daughter. And I was just telling her, we played, South Carolina Upstate or something like that. And it was probably about, 10,000 people in there. And I was telling her, if this game was in Reynolds, this game would be packed.
Yeah.
I said it would be hot in there. And I said the game would be over by the half.
Right.
But playing in Reynolds, man, it was such, my favorite story is this, that I always tell people is this, you could come to the arena and maybe be, had a long day of class and not felt like playing. But when you walked up those steps, it had some steps to go to the arena, when you walked up those steps and you came out that door, it was always the students that would have their heads sticking out. And you could hear them say, "Here they come." and then all these hands would come out for you to slap them on the way to the court. And then when you hit the court, and all those people screaming. I mean, it's a feeling, man, that I can't explain it. It's hard to explain, but that feeling. And when I go to Reynolds now, I go to watch the women play. I take one of my daughters to go see women's basketball because she plays basketball.
Right.
When I go over there, just the feel of being in Reynolds. And Reynolds, see the difference. Today's kids, they don't get to practice at the PNC that much. We practice at Reynolds every day.
Yeah.
So we knew, the ins and outs of the gym. You know what I'm saying? So, and we had a different type of floor. We didn't play on a wood floor. We played on like a tarp floor. But, I mean, it was just, that's probably, Reynolds Coliseum, for me, ranks right up there with Madison Square Garden and the Boston Garden and the Los Angeles, the Forum, the Great Western Forum. Those are probably my four arenas that I love playing in throughout my basketball career.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather, and nothing against the Dean Dome, nothing against PNC Arena, but
right.
I'd love to see Carmichael and Reynolds come back, because if you look at the advantage, I mean the court advantage that Duke has at Cameron. I mean, and
exactly.
That's just old school basketball to me. I do love watching them play at Cameron just because of the crowd like that.
Right.
Okay, getting to that, what was the toughest place you had to play while you were at State? Was it Reynolds? Not Reynolds, but Cameron, or because the Cameron Crazies were hadn't really hit their edge.
Right.
They had, because I do remember. Well,
they were crazy.
Yeah, what they did to Lorenzo Charles, I do remember that.
Yes. Cameron was crazy. A lot of people, I tell them this story too when I'm asked about it. But one time we played over there, I think it was my freshman year, and during the game, like the students used to throw a tennis ball. When the offensive team had the ball, bring it down the court, they would throw a tennis ball back and forth across the court.
Oh my God!
So So I mean, it was very distracting. It could be very distracting, but I would definitely say, Cameron back then was probably the toughest place to play because the people were all up on you. You had to focus and concentrate. You couldn't get caught up into hearing what someone was saying to you and turning around and responding to them. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
So it was probably the place where you had to have the most focus at. So I would definitely say that was the toughest place to play.
Yeah, because pretty much in certain spots, when you're inbounding the ball, they are right there at you.
They're right there. Yeah. They're right there on you.
Yeah, so that's okay, so you go your senior year, you finish 22-9. You're first in the ACC.
Right.
Which I don't think a lot of people with the Carolinas and Dukes,
right.
Duke hitting their stride now. I didn't think they really expected. But then you go into ACC tournament, you lose to Maryland by 22.
Right.
Just adapt, but you had a bad night, I guess. It did.
Yeah.
I mean that you really didn't see that coming.
Right.
But then you get in the NCAA tournament, you lose to Georgetown, but so your college career is over. But
right.
First, before I get to that. First impressions, you had another freshman come in, Tom Gugliotta. I know he was a freshman your senior year. What was your first impression to him?
Well, Goog came in as a very thin kid, tall, but we saw him at practice every day, hard-working kid. I knew he'd be good, but just a smart player. I didn't know he would get as good as he did,
right.
But I knew he'd be good. But he's just a smart player. Just a quiet guy. Just came out and just did his job every day.
Right.
So he was very, very intelligent. Like I said, did his job every day. Not gonna have any problems with him, and just a good person.
Okay. Next question: toughest opponent in college? That toughest guy that guarding you, or toughest guy you had to guard? Who did you really not look forward to guarding you, or to guarding?
I would have to say, people didn't give this guy credit, but he was tough, man. He made me work on. J.R. Reed and all them guys were tough, but the toughest guy for me probably was Sam Ivey. I thought
From
Sam
Wake Forest.
Ivey was, Sam Ivey was tough, man. He worked hard. He had a funny looking shot.
Yeah.
He didn't say nothing. But Sam Ivey was probably the toughest because he worked hard. You know, all those other guys are good, but Sam worked every play. So those are the toughest guys to deal with because, you know, if you're playing against a guy and he takes a play off, you can take a play off and rest too. Sam Ivey didn't allow you to do that. So I think Sam Ivey for me, to answer that question would be Sam Ivey.
Right. Okay. So you get drafted by Cleveland. You go play for a guy you go play for Lenny Wilkins.
Mm-hmm.
How was that? I mean, that's a legendary coach. You got to play for some legendary coaches in the NBA.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You really, I mean, Lenny Wilkins, Chuck Daly. I mean, and then you know, what was it like playing for Lenny Wilkins?
Oh, it was great playing for Lenny. Lenny taught me a lot about being patient. And, you know, when I first came out, you know, one thing about Coach V was an emotional guy.
Right.
So V would let you be emotional. So, you know, sometimes you could be out there, and V loved when you played with emotion. You know, when I went to play for Lenny, it was the exact opposite. Lenny wanted you to control your emotions. So Lenny taught me a lot about controlling my emotions and not always letting everyone know how you feel. So it was like, you know, you go from one extreme to the next. But, you know, Lenny was a great guy, always just talk to me and tell me different things. And when I see him, you know, today, you know, we laugh about some of the things that, you know, he used to get on me about. And like one time I remember he was riding me every day in practice. So one day, you know, we stretching, and I say to him, I said, Coach, why are you always riding me? You know, jokingly. And Lenny looks at me, he says, you don't need to worry about that. He said, you need to worry about if I don't talk to you. So I said, oh, okay.
Yeah,
so I never said another word, so I understood that. So, you know, like I said, Lenny was just a great guy, a funny guy when he needed to be. He was probably the best coach at drawing up a play to get you a good shot that I've ever played for.
It's funny you said that about be worried if I don't talk to you. I tell
Yep.
all my players, if I don't take the time, if you do something wrong and I don't take the time to say something to you, you know, you better be worried then.
Yep. Yep. That's what Lenny said to me. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So playing in Cleveland. Now, you know, of course, Cleveland's got a good team. You get to the conference finals against the Bulls. What was it like playing against the Bulls? You know, and that was like the start of the whole. And I think it was '91 when y'all played them in the conference finals, and I think y'all got put out 4-2. What was it like playing Jordan and Pippen and them?
Well, I tell you, you know, playing against them guys, man, it was just, you know, it was just like you're in a dream. Well, you know, the dream come true, really.
Yeah.
You know, because you watch Jordan play on television. You watch Scottie Pippen. You know, those guys are a little older than me, but not much older. So I can remember going to Jordan used to have a basketball camp in Wilmington. So I used to go to the camp down in Wilmington and play with those guys. He had a lot of guys come in, so I would go and play with them. A lot of pros came in. So just to be out there playing against, you know, Michael and knowing him a little bit, it was just like a dream come true, man. It was just a dream come true.
I can't imagine going out there after watching Jordan all those years, going out there and then having to guard him or having to play against. I mean, wow. Yeah, because you just missed him at Carolina. I think you came in your freshman year. He had just left.
Right.
Yeah. So you go to different teams. You play for Chuck Daly in New Jersey. And just looking at some of the guys you had on that team, Drazen Petrovic, Kenny Anderson, Mo Cheeks, Mahorn. You know, but you played with so many guys. I mean, and winning the NBA championship with the Rockets. I mean, I can't imagine winning a world championship. I know that's something you're extremely proud of. What was the feeling like when you got that?
Well, you know, it was a special feeling because, you know, you went through something. I got called up in February, I think.
Right.
February 1st, I think it was. I got called up to the Rockets to come in and play. But, you know, just to be on that team and to hear some of the things that they were going through that year, you know, some of the things that were going on behind the scenes that people didn't know about, and then to ultimately play in the finals and win it. I mean, it's just such a special feeling and a bond, a special bond that you have with these guys now. Like, I can pick up the phone now and call Clyde Drexler. I can call Sam Cassell. And, you know, first thing we do is laugh about something that happened 25, 30 years ago, riding on the bus to a game. We might have been talking about something. And that's the first thing we'll do. Then we'll catch up and say, hey, man, you know, how you been? You know, whatever, you know, or I'm just calling to check on you, you know, like, you know, talking to Kenny Smith and those guys. So when you win a championship, it's like a special bond that you have with those guys. And it's just, you know, it's really unexplainable, really.
Yeah, I can't imagine the. You know, I was just telling my daughter, she's 14, not really into sports, but I was saying, you do realize the guy I'm interviewing tonight has an NBA World Championship on his resume. I mean, that's something there. That's not only played at state, won a Legend State, but NBA World Champion too. So, what was it like when you went to the Hornets? I know you.
That was great. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're fine.
Okay, yeah, that was great because for me, you know, I'm coming back.
Coming back
North Carolina,
home.
where I finished, basically home, where I finished up high school and college, and you know, now my parents get to see every game, and my high school coach was coming to every game. You know, I was running into high school teammates and all that stuff. So, you know, it was great to come back to North Carolina where, you know, like I said, I would look up in the stands and see my mom and dad at every game. So, I mean, that was just a special feeling. So, I don't think there was ever a night that, you know, I went to a game and was tired and didn't feel like playing. I can remember one time, it was before a game, I had got a flat tire, so I usually like to take a nap before a game. So this particular game, I didn't get to take my nap because I had a flat tire and had to worry about getting my car and stuff. But I mean, there was nothing that could upset me when I played back in North Carolina.
Right. So you did play with the Spurs. So you played with Tim Duncan.
Yep.
That's one of the legends too. How was it playing with him?
Oh, it was awesome. You know, Timmy's a great guy. It was awesome playing with Timmy. You know, we used to have, you know, like each teammate, a lot of times, you know, if you have, you know, good teammates, you have funny things that you talk about or joke around about. So it was a movie that it came out called Pootie Tang with Chris Rock. I don't know if you remember. Yeah. So every time Tim and I would see each other, he would call me Pootie, or I would call him Pootie. Hey, what's up, Pootie Tang? And then I would say, if he said, what's up, Pootie Tang to me, I would say, Sarate, you know, because that was one of the guys. With Pootie Tang, that's what he would say, Sarate, Tippy Child, my Cappy Child. And so he was in the hood, so we would joke around about that. But Tim was a great guy. It was great to see. Like, it's always fun to see those great players play every night.
Right.
You get to see their preparation for games, so you kind of feed off of them. And Timmy was another guy that was a lead by example guy. So it was just great playing with him. Yeah,
you definitely played with some great guys, played against some great guys. So what are you up to now? I know you're living up in the Raleigh-Durham area.
Yeah, I live in Cary.
Okay, so what are you doing now?
Well, I do some radio, TV stuff. When I have those opportunities, I also do some private trainings. I have a clinic that I run at our country club every Sunday.
Okay.
We're off in December, but every Sunday I run a clinic where kids can learn how to play. So I'm just trying to do stuff around basketball. I do some camps from time to time with other people. Like I had the opportunity to go to Norway. Bergen. I went to Bergen, Norway this year.
Okay.
To help a friend run a camp. So I've been to Guadalajara, Mexico. So I'm still getting to go places that I would normally. You're expanding. Still doing a little traveling. So that's about it, man. So just, you know, raising my kids. I have my oldest daughter who was lucky enough to get a scholarship to go to University of North Carolina to play women's soccer.
Oh.
Yeah, so be on the lookout for her. Isabella Brown is her name. So
I'll be on the lookout for it. That's going to be kind of weird for you pulling for Carolina, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's all right. I pulled for Carolina women's soccer. So
okay, I got you. But you now here's the thing, though. We're going to see you wearing Carolina blue out there.
You're right. You will, and I did pick up a Carolina hat that I have to wear for women's soccer. So I got to tell you, I've never felt funny putting on a hat until I put that one on.
I can imagine. The things we do for our kids.
The things we do for our kids.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so I'm very proud of her. So like I told her, she was asking if I mind that she would go there. I said, no, you have to be happy. There's no guarantee that you would. I had a great time at NC State. But there's no guarantee that she would have a great time there.
Right.
I mean, college is a great life period, but, you do what's best for you. I'm going to support you no matter what you do,
Right. That's being a good parent. That's what it's all about.
Yep.
Well, I can't, like I said before, I can't thank you enough for taking the time out, especially right here before Christmas. Taking the time out to do this for me. I took a chance and messaged you on Facebook, and it wasn't any time that you. It's kind of surprised me because I was, I said, well, maybe I'll take a chance, and
right.
But I can definitely tell you I've got some great memories of watching you play at NC State, and like I said, I appreciate you doing this. It's been quite an honor, and loved hearing these memories. I always love hearing stuff that I didn't know, like what you said about Valvano telling y'all they're going to switch to golf in the middle of the ACC championship game. I was like, well, I can't believe that. But anyway, thanks again for your time.
Right.
Really enjoyed it, and I hope you have a Merry Christmas. And I'll keep my eye out for your daughter. I'll see if I can pull up some Carolina soccer highlights, see if I can see you over there wearing Carolina blue.
All right, man. Well, thank you for having me.
All right. Have a good night.
All right, you too.
All right.
Bye-bye.